Well, I can't hit a deadline to save my life for this video. What is this, the fourth time I missed a good opportunity for it? For those who have no idea what this video is, I asked over a year ago who you guys wanted to see in what is now known as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. After skimming through over 700 comments, tallying more than 170 different characters, and finally adding up the votes, I bring you the results of my curiosity and your long overdue waiting. And while the numbers may not seem that impressive, I mean, wow, this is pretty low, at least you'll see the results. I'm sure opinions may have changed over time, but let's be real. Your most wanted never leaves your heart. One last note, any characters confirmed or deconfirmed will still be on this list. Just didn't seem right to cut them after how long this list has taken. No more waiting, let's start it off!
10th place.
So why the big long delay on this countdown? Well, there were a great deal of problems, including scripting, timing, waiting until the new intros and number transitions were finished, and even almost losing the save file I was editing this on. I haven't been that scared in years. But let's focus on one of the earliest problems. The rule was just one vote per user, but in one of my more recent blunders, it wasn't communicated very well, and some people tried to vote for additional reps. One vote in particular was curious about how many characters they could nominate, and listed 18 fighters, including the entire cast of both Freedom Planet and Chrono Trigger. A line had to be drawn somewhere, so at first, I only counted the one character they wanted the most. Then sometime later I realized that wasn't entirely practical or fair, and decided that those who did follow the example would get a double count for their singular champion, while everyone else who voted for multiples got one vote each. Except for that one guy I mentioned earlier. I think I stopped counting yours after 3 or 5 of them. As a result, many characters got rearranged from the first time I counted the list, and one was, unfortunately, knocked off. My sympathies to the Isaac fans, as he was originally 9th place. He may not be on this wish list or even my own, but I have no problems with him being playable on Smash someday. More power to you guys. What was kinda strange, but funny strange, was that a tie was present in both counts at 10th place. So let's talk about the assist trophy first.
Nah!
This doesn't feel right. It's like I'm giving a eulogy. What am I supposed to say? Dearly beloved Smash fans, we are here to pay our respects to a fallen request the only way we know how. Just name it! Name it! Name it! Name it! No one wants to see it deleted! It will get spread around the net a lot. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, so meme it. Just meme it. Meme it.
Want to hear more? Too bad, why don't we time?
Seeing that part from the E3 Direct got a pity smash out of me. What was I supposed to do now, considering he's an assist trophy? I couldn't cut him, and now I have to open up those fresh wounds again. Yeah, I felt for the supporters. The good ones, not the cancer ones. For a third time, he's been put in the so close category. The statement of, at least they're in the game, may work for some, but when you're a first-party character with potential to have a fleshed-out moveset, that sounds about as comforting as hearing, well, at least your girlfriend married your brother. And I have to admit, I'm curious as to what human Lanky Kong could bring. Yes, I am aware of Legacy XP, but Ridley didn't come out 100% like that, now did he? His unpredictable mannerisms can basically make any kind of moveset you want. Yes, I agree with you, Ganon Must Die too. The wackier, the better would be the ideal way to go. Can I also suggest he do this for a dodge roll? Truth be told, I was a little surprised to see a number of supporters for him before all this started happening. Once again, these comments are from 2017. I bet TJ Henry Yoshi is happy to get Daisy, am I correct? Whoa, Whoopmaster Sora 6, you're hogging up the screen here! A simple special move list would have sufficed. Man, nobody has time to read this. But thank you for your passion. Well, at least Nicholas Schillenberg gave the gist of it, and I think a lot of us agree. Tennis racket, legs, bombs, vines, piranha plants, and whirlwinds. That's not a bad lineup, and as long as they incorporate humor into this, I'm good. That said, I don't think he'll be playable until Nintendo takes him a bit more seriously and puts him in a more prominent role. But hey, I've been wrong before, so what do I know? Well, I do know it's time to move on to the other character who shares this spot with him.
Yeah!
Question: would Rayman fit into the world of mascot Knock 'em Out? That wasn't a rhetorical question, it was a dumb one, with the correct response of duh. I myself haven't played too many Rayman games. I'm basically going off of the first Raving Rabbids game, Origins, and Legends, but even with just those 3 titles, I see some strong potential for moves to be ripped right out of them. a quick jab for neutral, smash attacks, a run attack, the up special, and a few potential aerials. For most of the specials, I'm kinda drawing a blank, but I like Carbonic Pikmin's plunger gun idea, and if that doesn't work, then he could throw a raving rabbit a la Gordo style. And for the final smash, let's just do a dance invasion. Gotta throw that in there and make people think it's a reference to Just Dance. Zange also gave some information to fill in the special attack gaps, but I'm still stuck on one important matter. Even though he has the look that fits him in the Smash quite easily, and you can kinda give him a moveset, my real concern is that a number of those moves are generic enough to be given to just about anyone. What can Rayman bring that another character couldn't? Disjointed hitboxes? Wouldn't be the only one. This is a question that has to be asked for practically every character they put in, minus the Echoes. And I struggle with Rayman as much as I do for some other characters, even the ones I really want. If they can find a mechanic that makes him stand out and strong among the other Smashers, then I think he's the most likely Western third-party character to join the roster, and with how close Ubisoft and Nintendo are, or more accurately, how much time Ubisoft has been making Shigeru Miyamoto-senpai notice them, I'd say that really helps raise his chances. But only time will tell if he gets in the game or not. One thing I hope he gets is a lot of costumes to wear, including the plumber himself. Make up your mind already, Nintendo!
9th place.
The dream will never die! Before the Smash Ballot, I thought there would be no way we would ever get Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. Then Phil Spencer says he's cool with it and stands by his word even today. And now, they are one of my highly requested characters, and it's comforting to see I'm not alone. Yes, I am aware that their chances are still so minimal that they're not exactly on the likely side, but I've taken comfort in knowing that Microsoft and Nintendo are actually on good terms. Sakurai has thought about Banjo-Kazooie before, and the announcement would make everyone scream with hype for hours on end. But on a downer note, I'm starting to see the exact same problem I just talked about with Rayman. The Bear and Bird duo have such a strong moveset potential, but what would be the mechanic that makes them unlike any other fighter? Some comments have suggested the down special should have them split up, but how exactly would that work? Would Kazooie be an AI-controlled character? Would it change all their current movesets to something else? The idea might have potential, but without a strong foundation to build this idea on, it starts to crumble apart rather quickly. Oh, and I definitely agree with Andrew Daniel on the final Smash. I said that way back in 2008. It'll pretty much be like Sonic and Pac-Man's now. A little underwhelming, but since most final Smashes get to the point, seems to fit pretty well. Final touches, Spiral Mountain for a stage, remix music pieces, and if Grunty isn't in the background flying around on her broomstick shooting magic spells at you, then she would be a great choice for an assist trophy. There's certainly a lot to work with here. Now the only question is, can all the pieces fit together to make this happen? A wait-and-see approach doesn't fill me with much hope, but it won't stop me from dreaming.
8th place.
I love you guys. Yep, it's him. Don't worry guys, I'm not gonna throw salty bombs over this. I just want you to know where I'm coming from. Seeing him in Smash but not being able to control him was the most heartbreaking moment for me in Smash history. Bomberman might have been the very first character I ever wanted to join the battle. Sega wasn't a third-party company at that time. Then soon realized that he wasn't a Nintendo-owned character, but he did have strong connections to the Big N, and that could help him get in someday. Just not the way I and many others had envisioned. I kept wondering why was it that this became his fate, and after giving it a lot of thought and studying his scripted movements, I think I have an idea. My closest guess is that Sakurai simply didn't know about Super Bomberman R when he was making the planned project, and instead was more focused on bringing back veteran Konami rep Snake, as well as Castlevania stars Simon and Richter. It's possible that he may have found out later on about his revival, and wanted to have him represented in the game because of his legacy and history with Nintendo, but it was simply too late to add him as a playable character. This might be the case, it's anyone's guess really, but looking at how he operates in Smash shows a potential problem. Bomberman is doing all of his basic moves from his series. He drops bombs, he throws bombs, he even has remote bombs! And as much as I know he can do a whole lot more, he's being represented in a way that is faithful to the character. Almost every comment voting for him has said the same thing. Explosions, with maybe a few bomb punches and bomb kicks. Sound familiar? No, it is not Snake's fault that Bomberman is an assist trophy. If anything, Snake is still the character to give third-party characters like Bomberman a chance to get in. but it does show that unless he can be given a more diverse and interesting moveset, then it's almost pointless to give him a spot on the roster. I'm gonna try and have an answer for that someday in the future. For now, I can only hope that DLC will return and that some assist trophies might be eligible to be promoted. And if not, then please let me have a Bomberman Mii costume and a few music tracks somewhere in the game. Some members of Ace already did his soundtrack before, so I don't think I need to say anymore.
7th place.
This is big? Ha! The biggest thing about him is his support. I never thought his size is what defined him as a character. Ridley is vicious, unrelenting, brutal, cunning, and savage. And lo and behold, they encapsulated that into a moveset. They even gave him two really big, it's fun to say that now, noticeable aspects that make him feel like you're playing as a boss. His downbeat tail spike has a sweet spot that does over 50% damage, and if he's hit when charging his fireballs, it cancels the attack and does damage to him. Strong power, big weakness, balance. Really, when you took away that ridiculous argument that we never have to hear again, thank God, there was nothing holding him back from being a playable character. He's been in almost as many Metroid games as the Metroids themselves. Not to mention that whole nasty ordeal of killing Samus's parents when she was a kid that helped shape to who she is in the games. If there was ever going to be another Metroid character, it had to be Ridley. Then whoever after that, I didn't really care. Go Space Pirates because whatever. Nearly everyone that voted for him said the same thing. Scale him down, make his proportions feel right, and call it a day. Big shout out goes to Trainer Shade who called almost all of his specials. It feels so good when you can make calls like that, doesn't it? Just like how many of us were right that his size didn't matter. Nope. Sorry, I don't want to rub it in anymore and be like that. I'll just end this segment with these words of wisdom. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. These are still great t-shirts.
6th place.
Give me strength!
Strange. During the ballot, I didn't really see Sora get that much of a big push, and only recently did I start to hear a lot of support behind him. I like how up-to-date your list is! But there was always one question that everyone had concerning his fate. Who owns the character? If it's Square Enix, let's celebrate! If it's Disney, let's panic! Well, according to the video from HMK, we now know what it would take to make the dream of dropping Sora into the battle a reality! Sadly, I think that would be my vote for his tagline. Using Key and Door for anything just doesn't sound right. While, yes, Disney is the more legal owner of Sora's character, they don't use him without Square Enix and Tetsuya Nomura's blessing. And further thanks to HMK, we now know the 4 things that need to happen to get Sora a slot on the roster. 1. Square Enix and Tetsuya have to be okay with it. 2. Disney needs to see that the fans want him in. 3. It won't be a bad representation of the character. And 4. Nintendo needs to send the invite. With the exception of the last one, I started to look at Sora's chances as getting better and better. But probably as DLC. Thanks to Cloud getting in, I think Tetsuya Nomura can completely trust Sakurai to accurately portray Sora in the game. Though I can't say for certain how comfortable Disney would be giving complete control over their character to anyone. Sakurai has said this is a condition, and Disney is ruthlessly protective of their stuff. What happened here? But hopefully they trust Tetsuya on that decision, and based on other guests like Mega Man and Ryu, we know Sakurai does third-party characters justice. Do the fans want him in? Do I even have to? Sorry. So it seems that the only thing left to do is have Nintendo make the call. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There may be some potential issues that I don't think many fans would be aware of. First of all, don't expect anything Disney related to come with him or even be mentioned. Riku could be an assist trophy, but the names of Donald and Goofy would be changed to quote-unquote friends. In fact, the keychain on the Keyblade would have to be changed to that of a crown or even based on the heart design. Though we have seen minor changes to characters before. Based on what happened with Final Fantasy, we might only get 2 music tracks from Kingdom Hearts and no remixes, which would really suck since Yoko Shimomura is already remixing some of her own stuff for the game. Are we going to get Haley Joel Osment to voice Sora, or are we looking at the Japanese voice again? And can Disney play nice with a Sora amiibo? Now let me ask you, are you guys prepared for that? Can you accept these conditions if they come up? Sorry for not going in depth with the comments for Sora's potential moveset, but I honestly felt that these questions needed to be asked. But as for his moves, I hope to have this one done as well.
5th place.
Rep to go!
Hi, Writer's Block! Yeah, out of every character on this list, Shantae is the one I knew the least about, and I decided to download 2 of her games to get a better understanding of her character, a potential moveset, and footage. I tried to do this for Isaac as well, but then the recount happened and, you know. My results ended up basically being the same general perspective that the majority of fans have come up with, but with possible different placements. We'll start with the basics. Her hair whip is as essential to her gameplay as Mega Man's Lemons, so it makes sense to use it more than a few times. As repetitive as that may sound, it would feel horribly wrong to her character to not have it. I can see her up tilt being that power kick that I almost never used in the game because it felt impractical. Or was I just doing it wrong? Then we get to what's been tripping me up. I wanted to have it nice and neat by having the same themed attacks being the same attack group. There was just one teensy problem. There was always something out of place. But if we ignore that, then I think we'll have a nice little setup here. My imagination likes pirate gear for aerials, animals for smash attacks, and items for specials. I know that last part sounds a bit against what everyone else says, but hear me out. Pirate hat for up aerial, sword for dare, and pirate gun for the back. Not sure about neutral yet, probably just some hairspin twirl move. Notice I didn't bring up the cannon? I can see that being her up special and act like Robin's recovery. Alex, James, and Mudkip971 agree with me on that. Now let's take a look at smash attacks via animal buddies. Elephant for a short distance forward charge. The harpy can fire her feathers upward, or the spider can shoot her web above her. And taking some liberties, the mermaid could use her tail to sweep around her for the down smash. And as a little bonus, the monkey could be the dash attack. Her items could fill in the other special spots like fire, lightning, and... well, what sounds better? Mirror bubble for a reflector, or a counter that brings the pikes around her for the attack animation? As for the final smash, how about obliterate? Shantae is usually seen as the queen of the Nindy scene, but after seeing this, let's just say I don't have much hope for indie characters at the moment. But look on the bright side, she's not deconfirmed yet, and DLC is practically a given. Here's hoping your wish gets granted. Yeah, you could tell Writer's Block wouldn't leave me alone for this one.
4th place.
Long live the king! August 8th, 2018, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, was their finest hour. Nearly 2 decades of waiting was finally paid off in the trolliest and possibly best trailer yet. I don't think my voice ever went that high. Even if he wasn't number 1 on this countdown, he still showed up on several wish lists over the years, slowly getting attention while being out of action. When the ballot happened, we saw it as our biggest chance to get him the invite. Hashtag Croc the Vote was well known within the Smash community. We might have been the loudest, maybe even the most obnoxious, but we're also the most grateful. Just lost the most modest award. They even put him in the newspaper. Nobody reads those things anymore. Hype on page 7. For those who never saw his appeal before his inclusion, consider yourself one of us. He's been one of the few characters I've done a full moveset for, and let me just say, moves like the blunderbuss, boomerang crown toss, and helicopter weren't surprises in the least. Just ask anybody who fought against him and supported him for Smash. The counter is what caught me off guard. Where did that idea even come from? I'd say he's the only heavyweight to have one, but does I count? The Blastomatic changes the meaning of FS from Final Smash to Fan Service! And I am going to abuse that up throw. He jumps up high like his DKC1 boss fight and lands with a backbreaker-like move. Is it just me, or does he feel like he's trying to portray a sumo wrestler in Ultimate? Given his girth and how the game acts like a sumo match, you know, pushing them out of the ring, I feel so stupid for not seeing this coming. Oh, and apparently there will be more alternate costumes than just the 8 default. You guys thinking what I'm thinking? And no, the pirate hat isn't already a costume, it's part of his blunderbuss move. After his debut in Smash, I can't wait to find out what other games they'll put him in. Now that Nintendo is aware of how popular he is, I don't think he'll be going back to retirement anytime soon.
3rd place.
It's hard to take Sakurai's words at face value. I'm not saying his nose grows every time he talks. No. He's a director and he's free to change his mind about decisions from the past installments if he feels like it's going to give us a new experience or if he can finally make it work. That said, maybe he wasn't kidding about the whole not that many newcomers thing. I don't like the box theory, but I've come to accept it while hoping it's wrong. The odds of getting a spot on the roster are slimmer by the day. It seems as if only the most requested characters get the invite. Relevance be darned! And yet, Echoes seem like they have an open window and door policy, and at this point, I'm not complaining as Yeah, these make sense to me and retain their personalities. Chrome's the only Fire Emblem newcomer I would tolerate with a smile. Besides maybe Lyn. Seniority, man. So where am I going with this? I've thought of a backup plan in case the worst happens for Bandana Waddle Dee. There are things I'm never going to hear the end of. When's the next review / countdown going to come out? Mistakes I've made in previous videos? This guy's obsession with Vagrant story? And now we add this to the list. Though to be fair, 3 out of 4 of them are self-inflicted. I wholeheartedly agree that... I'm just gonna call him Bandana D for short since Bandana Waddle Dee seems too long to fit in the name box. If BD got a spot on the roster, he should have his own moveset focusing on the spear. Thankfully, I haven't heard one person say this idea sucks, and now I'm going to waste time for the sole purpose of having these comments here. Go ahead, take a look at them. I'm in no rush. On second thought, you can always pause the video. The spear works on so many levels. It already has nearly half of its moveset fleshed out, and I continue to hear people request him to this day, so if popularity is a main factor, you start to get the idea. But none of the major leakers like Virgin have mentioned this guy at all, and... I panicked a little. Then I remembered hearing about the silhouette theory. It's a bit too much to go into detail in this video, and it has exceptions, but when you just look at images like this, you start to see where I'm coming from. Now, if Smash Ultimate's newcomers, not counting Echoes, is limited, and they're inviting characters based on popularity, then Bandana D should be okay even if it's for DLC. I was already greatly aware of his popularity before I even did this, but should something funny happen that no one sees coming and for whatever ridiculous reason he's not a full-on newcomer, then is it possible that Bandana D could be a semi-echo of Kirby? Now hold on, I know I sound crazy here, and I'm just thinking without taking everything into consideration first, so I hope my nonsensical gobbledygook can at least be somewhat entertaining to listen to. What if they gave Bandana D a moveset like Kirby's with similar properties but different abilities, with the exception of the copy ability, which would just be some other power-up attack instead? We've seen him use the spear and the parasol, so who's to say Smash won't give him some other stuff as long as it doesn't sound too far-fetched? Once again, I don't think this would be the case. I hope it's not. I'm actually against my own point, but I guess I'd rather have that than not having him be welcome to the battle. Please let me be wrong on both counts, and he's a newcomer with his own moveset! I think what is essentially Kirby's new BFF deserves that.
Second place.
Saw it coming. Was there anyone convinced that they weren't going to add the Inklings in the next Smash Bros., the most successful new IP Nintendo has had in years with a style all its own and a respectable large fanbase at the start? They were the only characters that were shoo-ins. Even the dev team knew that we knew they were coming. That's why their reveal was so good in my books. Revealing them before even revealing the game was a very brilliant move. And I was gonna try and make this section a bit more interesting by playing comment bingo, but sadly there weren't too many comments that focused on their moveset, and many of them did overlap each other. But let's just do it for the heck of it. While nobody only said the killer whale for the final Smash, it was brought up by Super Mario Plumber Bros. And Brawl Master 012, both of which did try to come out with their own fleshed out moveset, but Super Mario Plumber Bros. Made more correct guesses. Sorry, old friend, but he got the slosher for the down smash. That's a very good call. ED Games also got a number of targets hit. You got the Splatter Shot for the standard special, the ink causes some players to slow down, Splat Roller for the side special, as did Super Mario Plumber Bros. And this just cracks me up. You put the ink brush for all the smash attacks except the forward smash! But hey, at least you got some calls made there. Oh, Chaos Key, you were so close with the jab and the ink on the floor, but you are correct that when the ink is on the ground, it will slow others down, and it will disappear after a short while. Duo Reviews, Koopa Dude 1 and Super Mario Plumber Bros. Got the 8 alternate costumes, but that one was kind of a given. Probably should have had that as the free spot, though Koopa Dude 1 did get the Agent 3 outfit. Alright, so what does the final result look like? Aww. Well, to be fair, getting the aerials would have been tough. We'll just call Super Mario Plumber Bros. The winner for getting the most spots. Plus, looking back on it, I'm the one that messed up. The free space should be free and not really have anything on it. But even if it did, it needs 2 spots to get a bingo, not just 1. Darn it, ED Games, you were so close! But at least you didn't say the P word. I thought I was pretty clear on that, Paul.
Alright, first place.
For all the grief this list has given me to get it finished, there's only one thing I can currently take solace from. That being that there is no character on your list that I would be upset with if they got announced to join the fray. Some viewers may have issues with one character or another, but me? I'm singing zippity doo-dah here. And for a bit of maybe interesting trivia, when I did the recount, the only character who did not see any change at all in their placement was the top, meaning that no matter which of the two counting methods I used, the end result was the same. So without further ado, I give you your champion in shining armor! Well, I'm screwed. The big finale, the one that claimed the crown, has already been deconfirmed as an assist trophy. Is there any way to salvage this countdown? Wait, am I just typing my thoughts? Why does just have a typo? Alright, let's take a moment to realize just how big of a deal Shovel Knight being a helper actually is. He went from Kickstarter to indie poster boy in less than a year, had his game get published in Japan by Nintendo, and has an amiibo of his very own. This happened 4 years ago, and I think he's still getting updates to his game. You think Yacht Club Games is upset about him not being playable? Heck no! They love the fact that he's getting to share screen time with the big industry veterans. He's being noticed in one of the most important and beloved video game crossovers. Not to mention, it says a lot for them to even reach out to a Western indie team to have him be included in the first place. Let's just hope someday he becomes a fully fleshed out fighter and his moveset practically writes itself. Shovel attacks, a potential dare, shockwave, and I actually thought that could have been his down smash. And take a look at all those relics. If you can't put something together with this, then you, buddy, need some imagination right away. And I can't even begin to go over the comments. They more or less say the same thing. Ironic that it's the comment from Jonah Young that gets featured, and all he says is, everybody already said it. But no, I'm not cruel enough to only have one, so let's take a look at a few others. Matt Huddleston brought up the possibility of the phase locket acting as a sort of counter. I can clearly picture that in my mind. Sheldon Skull came up with the idea of the final smash having the Warhorn stun enemies, then have Shield Knight finish them off. The Vaporeon Kid Pinson also reached a similar conclusion. Alejandro Ortiz and Nate Pixel gave us a bit more of a comical version by having the Tropical King dance around to do damage. Put it in a cutscene, and I think that would be fantastic. Finally, Gamer77 had the idea to have the Dust Knuckles act as a grab, and I would love to see that happen. Kinda like how most of you would want him to be playable someday. I still want to hold out hope that assist trophies can be upgraded to playable fighters through DLC, and while it might not come to fruition, how many of you would like to see it happen? And that'll do for your list, and I hope to see many, if not all of them, join the battle someday. Look how far he's come, guys. I hope he gets some music tracks and a Mii costume as well. I'm gonna go celebrate finally having this list done by doing something I haven't done in a long time. Make a collab list. Don't worry, this one basically makes itself. Quick thanks to Jimmation aka LX, aka the guy who had over 18 characters on their comment for the no one wants to see it deleted line. I think there was another comment that said the same thing, but I couldn't find it. Sorry to that person, and thanks to everyone who voted and for being patient for this list. The collab list shouldn't take that long unless another Smash Direct happens. Later, everyone!